What is up, my Shadowverse soldiers, and welcome back to another Shadowverse Evolve video. Alright soldiers, in today's video we're going to be going over the Abysscraft reveals, and we all know that vampires is going to be coming out of this set because for the longest time, force bats have not been anything but useless, but now we're finally going to see force bats on the map. Alright, starting off with our first card, we have Vania, Nightshade Vampire. She's a 3-cost 3/3. You can evolve her for 1 into a Kind Queen Vania, or you can evolve her for 3 into a Blood Queen Vania. You can activate only if there are at least 5 vampire cards in your cemetery, and when she comes into play, you summon a Force Bat token. Alright, it is finally time, my Abysscraft players. We are finally going to be seeing vampire slash force bats being put into the meta, and they finally have some big, good boss cards. For the longest time, vampires have not been anything but just good, friendly decks to play against your friends and then not see like the light of day at all. But with this new set, we finally have Vania being very strong, and we have her in 2 forms as well, so I'm looking forward to what that's going to be providing. But getting more into card abilities, just being able to spawn a force bat is nice too, because our other vampire effects usually go off of how many force bats are on the field, or how many force bats you've played this turn, X, Y, and Z, you know, stuff like that. But getting into Kind Queen Vania, so she turns into a 4/4, and while this card is on your field, your Force Bat tokens cost 1 less to play. Whenever a Force Bat token is put onto your field, give your leader +1 defense, and then on evolve, you draw a card and then discard a card. Alright, so this is a pretty big card for turn 3, turn 4, whenever you get to playing out the Kind Queen, because on those previous turns, if you're going to be playing Force Bat cards like Summon Bloodkin that puts Force Bats into your EX area, and you don't really want to commit those 1 play points for a 1/1 that doesn't really do anything, but when you have Kind Queen Vania out, it's going to be very good to being able to evolve and then playing those Force Bats in your EX area, and then also healing while doing it. And then we have our other version, the Blood Queen Vania. So she turns to a 6/6 and she has Storm, and while this card is on your field, your Force Bat tokens cost 1 less to play still, and whenever Force Bat token is put onto your field, select the enemy following the field and deal it 3 damage. So for a total of 6 play points, you're going to be getting a 6/6 Storm on the board, which is pretty nice. And then on top of that, whenever you play a Force Bat, you can start answering your opponent's board for free by playing those Force Bats in your EX area. Alright, and then next up we have Arcus, Ghostly Manager, so it's a 2-cost 5/5. This follower can attack enemies at the start of your main phase, Necrocharge 10, summon a ghost token. You can activate by putting another follower on your field into its owner's cemetery. You can choose one of the following. You can activate only once per turn. You can either 1, draw a card, 2, summon 2 ghost tokens, 3, put the top 2 cards of your deck into your cemetery. Alright, so this card is really good, especially if you're going to be running a Necrocharge deck. So checking for that Necrocharge 10 at the start of your turn every turn is very good too, to get a ghost token. But having this activate ability ready every turn to go draw you an extra card, or summon 2 ghost tokens to get some storm damage out, or if you're not even at Necrocharge 10, you can get rid of your Last Words followers to get their Last Words effect, and you can also put 2 cards from the top of your deck into your cemetery. Alright, and next up we have Oldblood King, so it's a 4-cost 2/4. You can evolve from 1, and while this card is on your field, your Force Bat tokens have Rush and Assail, but when he comes into play, you summon 2 Force Bat tokens. Alright, so this is a pretty good card, especially the fact that you can spawn 2 Force Bats that already get Rush and Assail, so those Force Bats are going to have some abilities on top of that too, instead of just being 1/1 vanillas. Alright, and then we have the King Evolve, so he turns into a 3/5, and while this card is on your field, your Force Bat tokens still have Rush and Assail, and then on Evolve, you give each Force Bat token on your field +1 attack. So a pretty good combo play, especially when playing out those 2 Force Bat tokens from the unevolved side. So on top of that, they have the Assail and the Rush, and they have +2, so now they're going to be swinging for 4 damage. Alrighty, next up we have Darkfeast Bat, so it's a 6-cost 4/4, and when it comes into play, you select the enemy following the field and deal 4 damage to it and its leader. And if Sanguine is active for you, you recover 3 play points. Alright, so I believe this is a pretty solid card, so if you've dealt damage to yourself at all throughout the turn, you can definitely recover 3 play points, so this is a 3-cost 4/4, essentially, on the big 6 turn, remember that. You have to have 6 play points. So paying 6 is going to give you that 3 back as long as you've dealt damage to yourself. You get to select a follower and deal 4 damage to it and its leader, so a good burn 4. Alrighty, next up we have Gift for Bloodkin, so it's a 2-cost spell, and if there are at least 5 vampire cards in your cemetery, this card costs 2 less to play. You put 2 Force Bat tokens onto your field, and if there's a Vania in its name in your cemetery, draw a card. Alright, so this card being free for having those 5 vampire cards in your cemetery is pretty nice too, but I think it's going to be really good to be playing this card when having those Kind Queen Vanias out, or if you establish the game where you've used your Kind Queen Vanias, they've been put into the cemetery because your opponent's definitely going to be answering your cards, being able to draw a card to go ahead and replace this card, and then fueling up more of your engine. Alright, and next up we have Big Soul Hunter. It's a 4-cost 3/4, and you can evolve it for 1. And then we have Big Soul Hunter Evolve, so it turns into a 4/5, and on Evolve, each enemy player selects one follower with the highest attack on their field and puts it into their cemetery. Definitely a solid removal card, especially if you're trying to get a 2-for-1 special here. Your opponent's going to have to get rid of their biggest attacked follower. They get rid of that, and then you're able to swing into one of those smaller followers, and then you have a follower that's probably still up on the field. Alrighty, next up we have Raven Eventide Vampire, so she's a 2-cost 1/1. You can activate to engage this card and put a Force Bat token on your field into your cemetery. You can choose one of the following. You can either 1, select the enemy following the field and deal 4 damage and draw a card, or 2, deal 2 damage each enemy leader and give your leader +2 defense and draw a card. Alright, so some good value in some vampires here. So your Force Bat tokens are finally going to have some value, so you play them out, and you can either get rid of them by dealing 4 damage and drawing a card, or you can get rid of them to deal 2 damage to each leader, and then give your leader +2 defense and drawing a card. Alright, next up we have Blood Moon, so it's a 2-cost amulet. When it comes into play, search your deck for a beast follower, reveal it, and add it to your hand. And you can also activate to engage this card and put this card into your cemetery. You can deal 1 damage to each leader. Alright, so it looks like we got some beast support this set, so if you're still running Aragavi with some aggro Sanguine, I think this isn't a bad card. Or if you're running beast somehow, which I don't know how the deck is even performed without any like good boss monsters outside of Aragavi, but I think this deck is still pretty cool to being able to deal so much damage yourself, and then you play some big followers with some good stats. Alright, next up we have Orator of the Bones, so it's a 1-cost 1/1, you can evolve it for 1. I'm looking at Orator of the Bones Evolve, so she turns into a 2/2, and on Evolve you select an Abysscraft follower in your cemetery and add it to your hand. Alright, so I think this is a really solid card for Necrocharge, especially since you're going to be milling yourself, and there are some situations where you don't want to Death Breath a card back. You kind of want to just add it back to your hand, just for tempo value's sake, and then playing it the very next turn if you have the time to. I think this is a pretty solid card. Alright, next up we have Raven Noontide Vampire, so it's a 1-cost 1/2, and one of each turns when a Force Bat token is put onto your field, give your leader +1 defense, and when she comes into play, put a Force Bat token into your EX area. Alright, so I know this is a bronze card, but I absolutely love the art of this card. I absolutely love nervous characters. But getting back into the solid card ability, I think it's very good to be playing this out for 1, putting a Force Bat token into your EX area. If your opponent does not answer this card, you're going to be getting such good value on turn 2 by playing a Force Bat. Alright, then we have Raven Midnight Vampire, so it's a 1-cost 2/1, and one of each turn when a Force Bat token is put onto your field, deal 1 damage to each enemy leader. But when she comes into play, you put a Force Bat token into your EX area. Alright, so this looks like a more aggressive route when playing those Force Bats. So you play those Force Bats, and then they're able to ping your enemy leader for 1, and then if she manages to survive, you're going to be dealing 3 damage that turn. Alright, next up we have Death the Nyctophile, so he's a 6-cost 5/6. He has Rush, and last words you select the enemy following the field and destroy it, and then deal 3 damage to its leader. Alright, so this is definitely a Necrocharge card just because it says Departed, and I think this will definitely go for the Necrocharge deck. Now, on the other hand, I personally don't agree with this number up here being 6 for what all this does, but maybe he can be reduced in some sort of way. Alrighty, and last up we have Poltergeist, so it's a 1-cost quick spell. You put the top 2 cards of your deck into your cemetery. Alright, so it looks like Necrocharge is eating very good this set, so Vampires and Necrocharge are going to be the way to go. So being able to leave one up on your turn, because sometimes Necrocharge wants to play a little control-y because they want to get to the late game. So leaving that one up to threaten your opponent's turn by getting rid of one of their cards, or if they don't really do anything on their turn, go ahead and use this quick spell at the end of their turn. Well, if you thought we were getting a Vania, you are incorrect. It is Arcus. So this amazing 2-cost follower that's a 5/5 that's going to be amazing for the Necrocharge deck is getting the UR the set. And I hope if you are rocking Abysscraft and you want to get this card, I hope you find ways to get it and you're able to run it in your decks in any sort of way. And I hope you enjoy set 9. But alright soldiers, that is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. I made a question on Reddit this weekend and I did not expect the amount of responses that I'd be getting. I appreciate all of you for answering the question. I am going to be read-overing them today, and I'm going to be answering them the best of my ability. I'm probably going to do that about every other weekend, or whenever I'm thinking about things, I might start making questions on the Reddit, get some engagement going, because I think this game can go very far, and with Shadowverse Worlds Beyond right around the corner, there's more and more Shadowverse content to make. But alrighty soldiers, I love you so much. Thank you so much for watching. It means a lot to me that you're watching these reveals. We have only a couple more classes to go, and then we'll be focusing on the rest of our set 8 stuff, and we'll be going on into set 9. But alright soldiers, make sure you're safe in whatever you do tonight, and safe whatever you do for the rest of the year. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.
Yeah. TRINN.
Just to get you away. What I got to do, what I got to do.